This video is brought to you in association with kitsch Toys, the UK's home for retro and vintage toys.
You met my expectations at the very least. Alright, Rick Wooler came back again, and what we got in front of me? From Doctor Who, it's the 4th Doctor Collector Set. So what we got in this box? We've got 4th Doctor, D84 Robot, and the Decayed Master. Picture of Tom Baker on the box. The 4th Doctor, 1974 to 1981. Tells you what it includes. Got the character logo, Doctor Who logo. Pretty much all the same stuff on the top. Pretty much just pictures of the figures in the set in the back. Picture of the 4th Doctor. Gives the guff of who the other Doctors are. From 3rd to 7th. Which kind of leaves out quite a few, but still. Picture of the figures. Picture of the figures. Yeah, nothing too exciting on the box. But it's not the box we're here to look at, is it? We're here to pop them out the box. Have a play around. See what we can do. Back you a couple. Okay, first things first, I just want to talk about the cardboard inlay that was in the box. Really cool design. Basically based on the title cards for the 4th Doctor. Cool diamond shape. Makes a nice backdrop. Nothing more to it than that. But I figured I'd share that with you. Okay, let's start looking at the figures. Start with D84. From Robot to Death. I haven't seen that one in years. Hardly really remember the plot of it, frankly. I know it's sort of like a murder mystery set with these robots. But yeah, that's about all I can remember of it. I remember one of them was the good guy and the rest weren't. We've got broken faceplate statue thing. I remember some of the robots in there had a face like that one. Is this one of those broken? I can't remember, but he can hold it. Or we can set it to the side while we talk about his articulation. Articulation is head turns. It would go further around, but it's impeded by the collar. Arms would go all the way around, but again, impeded by the shoulder pieces. Elbow bend. Upper arm rotation. Wrist rotation. Legs can go forwards. Not so much back. Some knee bend. Again, restricted by this. The legs can turn. In fact, the entire leg pieces can turn. Which is odd. And there's a waist articulation. So, overall, alright articulation there. Not spectacular, but alright. It's restricted slightly because of the design of the character. But the design of the character is really well realised, I think. So, I'm not complaining about that. Yeah, a good job overall, I'd say. I like D84. Okay, well, on to the main reason I actually bought this set, the Decayed Master. Now, I've not been the biggest collector of the Master so far. I think this is my first version. But it won't be my last. I love the character. Really loving how he's being played by Missy right now, by Michelle Gomez. She is awesome. All kinds of awesome. Only Anthony Ainley is a better Master than her, in my opinion. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is the Decayed Master. Or rather, the figure of him. And honestly, it looks awesome. It looks absolutely awesome. Look at all those sculpted details on his raggedy clothes. Look at the decayed face, the decayed hands. It looks incredible. The articulation, not so much. I mean, it's part of the problem with how good it looks, is why the articulation doesn't work so well. The head is static. The hood gets in the way of that. I'm not sure if the head underneath is meant to move, but because of the hood you can't really get to it, so it doesn't move. The arms don't go backwards because of the cape, only go that far forwards because of it, which means you can't get him in the iconic stroking the Doctor's hair pose that he did in Keeper of Traken, or any real dynamic poses. That means his arms can only go to there. You do get the upper arm swivel, you do get the elbow bend, you do get the wrist swivel. But that's it as far as the arms go. Legs, you can go about that far with the skirt piece, the cape piece spoiling the motion. The knees do bend, but when you've got it down like that, why are you going to bend them? Not very well. You've got the feet turn. There is a waist swivel if you can get your fingers under there to use it, but again it's practically worthless. And that essentially sums up his articulation. So, as long as you've got him on a shelf, sort of standing neutral, he looks awesome. He does come with a little gun though. And that fits into his hand very nicely actually. And he's got a pretty okay, fairly dynamic shooting pose. Oh, that is if he can stand up. Not really had any problem standing him until then. That's one good thing about the cape piece. It actually works as a bit more balance for him. Yeah, that's the Decayed Master. And must admit, slightly disappointed with it. Only slightly, because it looks so good, but slightly disappointed. We've got what most will regard as the star of the set, the Fourth Doctor. I'm slightly surprised I don't already have a Fourth Doctor, but he now completes my living Doctors. Well, I haven't got the 12th or the War Doctor yet, but I'm not sure has the 12th actually been released in a 5-inch scale. I've got him in the 3 3/4 inch scale. Don't like it. And the War Doctor's just far too pricey. Why is he that price? So, we've completed our living Doctors here. Our Big Finish Doctors, if you like. And he's looking quite good, actually. I actually quite like this figure. One thing I really like about this figure is the scarf is removable. Looks a bit odd without it. But we'll go without it for now while we just run down his articulation. Right, the head turns. Actually, it easily pops off there as well. I think the original release of this had interchangeable heads. And that's sort of a leftover from that. Does not go back on quite as easily, but there we go. I think that's just about got it. I'm wondering if I can pop the heads off the other Doctors and, maybe the 5th Doctor and pop his head on here. So we've got a post-regeneration Doctor. That'd be a nice little bonus. The arms go 360. Upper arm swivel. Elbow bend. Wrist swivel. Waist articulation. Legs go all the way forwards. Not very much back because of the coat. single jointed knee, upper leg rotation. So that's actually pretty good articulation for a figure like this. Pop his scarf back on, it's just moulded to fit on his shoulders. And I think looks awesome. And actually doesn't restrict his articulation in the slightest, which is all good. As his accessory, we get a sonic screwdriver, an essential accessory for the Doctor, I always think, with the exceptions of 1 and 6, who never really used one. 7 never used it in the show either. He did in the TV movie, but we tend not to talk about that if we can help it. Aside from Paul McGann's performance, he was epic. So yeah, we've got the 4th Doctor. Can get some nice poses with him, and he looks really good. Well, there we go. That's the 4th Doctor's collector's set. I was impressed with D84 if he could stand up. Slightly disappointed with the Master. And yeah, the 4th Doctor he met my expectations at the very least. Which is pretty good. So yeah, overall, and considering it was probably the fact that they had too many of these left and too many of these left, that this set ever existed at all, it's alright. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. I'm going to be displaying it. So, that's pretty good for me. I like that. Till next time, silly. Haven't seen that one in years.